The bedroom door hung ajar, a sliver of moonlight slicing through the gap, illuminating the empty half of the bed where Lila used to sleep. I stood frozen, my pulse hammering in my ears, clutching the crumpled note she'd left on the kitchen counter. "I'm sorry, Ben. I can't do this anymore. I'm with him now." Him. The word burned like acid. I didn't need to read the tabloids to know who he was. Damian Cross, Hollywood's golden boy, all chiseled jaw and smoldering eyes, who'd been filming in our sleepy coastal town for 3 months. My wife was gone, and the truth was a knife twisting in my gut. The house felt hollow, the kind of quiet that screams. The scent of Lila's lavender perfume lingered on the pillows, mocking me. I stumbled to the living room, where her favorite scarf, soft, teal, frayed at the edges, draped over the couch like a ghost. We'd been married 7 years, built a life in this creaky Victorian by the sea, whispering dreams of kids and growing old. How had I missed the cracks? The late-night phone call she brushed off as work? The way her laughter dimmed when I touched her? I sank to the floor, the hardwood cold against my palms, and let the questions claw at me. Was it my fault? Was I too boring, too predictable, for a woman who craved the spotlight? I replayed the last few months. Damian's film crew had invaded Port Haven, turning our quiet streets into a circus of cameras and egos. Lila, a part-time script consultant, had been thrilled to work on set. "It's just professional," she'd said, her eyes bright, too bright, when she talked about Damian's genius. I'd ignored the warning signs. The extra makeup, the new dresses, the way she'd linger at the mirror before heading to the set. Denial is a coward's shield, and I'd wielded it well. The next morning, I drove to the diner where Lila's best friend, Mara, worked. The bell above the door jangled, and the smell of burnt coffee hit me. Mara, wiping down a counter, froze when she saw me. Her hazel eyes, usually warm, darted away. "Ben," she said, her voice tight, "you okay?" The question was a formality. She knew. Of course she knew. "Tell me," I said, my voice low, trembling with the effort to stay calm. "How long?" Mara's hands stilled on the rag. I didn't want to be the one to." She stopped, her lips pressing into a thin line. "A month, maybe 2. I told her to stop, Ben. I swear." Anger surged hot and sharp, but beneath it guilt gnawed. Why hadn't I confronted Lila sooner? Why had I let her drift? Did everyone know? I asked, my voice cracking. Was I the last idiot to figure it out? Mara reached for my hand, her fingers warm against my cold knuckles. "No one wanted to hurt you." Her touch lingered, and something in her gaze, pity, maybe regret, unraveled me. I pulled away, the diner's fluorescent lights buzzing like my thoughts. That night I drank too much whiskey, the kind Lila hated. Its burn a poor substitute for clarity. Mara showed up at my door uninvited, with a bottle of wine and apologies. "I should have told you," she said, her voice soft, her hair falling in loose waves over her shoulders. The room spun, and before I knew it, her lips were on mine, desperate and wrong. We stumbled to the couch, clothes shedding like regrets, and for a fleeting moment, I felt alive, wanted. But when it was over, the shame hit harder than the betrayal. I'd betrayed Lila too, hadn't I? Or was this just revenge, a pathetic grab at control? Days bled into weeks. The town whispered. Lila and Damian spotted at a beachfront villa, her laughter echoing in paparazzi photos. I avoided the newsstands, but the images haunted me. Her hand in his, her smile brighter than it had ever been with me. I threw myself into work, fixing boats at the marina, the salt air stinging my lungs. But every creak of the docks reminded me of our late-night walks, her hand in mine, promising forever. Then came the email. Anonymous, no subject line, just a grainy video attachment. My hands shook as I clicked play. It was Damian's trailer on set, the camera shaky, catching glimpses through a window. Lila's voice, unmistakable, laughing, then a muffled argument. "You can't keep doing this," she said, her tone sharp. Damian's reply was low, cold. "You knew what this was. Don't play innocent now." The video cut to black, but not before I saw it. A flash of white powder on a table, a rolled-up bill in Damian's hand. My stomach churned. Lila didn't do drugs. Did she? Or was this the secret she'd run to? I watched the video again, then again, each loop tightening the knot in my chest. Was she trapped? Manipulate it? Or had she chosen this life, this man, this darkness? I wanted to hate her, to let her go, but love is a stubborn ghost. I needed answers. I tracked down Mara at the diner again. Did you send it? I asked, shoving my phone at her. The video paused on Damien's sneering face. Her eyes widened then narrowed. No. But I heard things. Whispers on set. Damien's not what he seems, Ben. He's got a reputation, parties, drugs, girls who disappear when the cameras stop rolling. Her voice dropped. Lila's in over her head. Fear replaced anger. I didn't want to care, but I did. I drove to the villa, the one from the tabloids, my heart pounding like a war drum. The gate was locked, but I climbed over, thorns tearing at my jeans. The house glowed, music pulsing from within. I crept to a window, my breath fogging the glass. Inside, Lila stood in a silk dress, her face pale, eyes glassy. Damien loomed over her, his hand gripping her wrist. You don't get to leave, he said, his voice carrying through the cracked window. Not after everything. I wanted to barge in, to save her, to punch him. But my feet wouldn't move. Doubt crept in. Was she a victim or a willing player? Had our life meant nothing? The video burned in my mind, the drugs, the lies. I needed proof, not just for me, but for her. I sent the video to a local reporter, someone I trusted to dig without mercy. Within days, the story broke. Damien Cross, Hollywood's darling, linked to a drug scandal. Lila's name stayed out of it, barely, but the photos of her leaving his villa in tears were everywhere. She came back to Port Haven, to our house, her suitcase battered, her eyes hollow. Ben, she whispered, standing in the doorway. I didn't know. I thought I loved him. I wanted to scream, to ask why she'd thrown us away. But her trembling hands, the bruise on her wrist, silenced me. What happened? I asked instead, my voice barely steady. She told me everything. How Damien's charm had dazzled her. How the drugs were his, not hers. How she tried to leave but he'd threatened to ruin her. I was stupid, she sobbed. I broke us. I didn't forgive her, not then. But I let her stay. Not out of love, not yet, but because I saw the truth in her eyes. Regret, raw and real. The town still whispered, and Mara avoided my gaze at the diner. I'd betrayed Lila too, in my own way, and that guilt was a weight I'd carry alone. The scandal faded, Damien's career crumbled, and Lila and I rebuilt, piece by fragile piece. But some nights, when the house was too quiet, I wondered if trust could ever be whole again. The note she'd left still sat in a drawer, a reminder of how close we'd come to losing everything. And how secrets, once buried, could still claw their way out.